You've got some really cool specific tactics and tools that you've taught to our direct care staff in our organization. Maybe touch on some of those and tell us more about Allow the Climb and how you utilize this behavior extinction intervention to help teens to learn to self-regulate.
Self-regulation is the answer. When you look at the statistics of treatment of kids that do really well in treatment, and if they go home to the same environment, there's a honeymoon phase, and most of those kids they reoffend, or they get to a moment where family's like, oh shoot, we're right back at square one. And so one of the things that we've been able to really hyper focus on over the last several years is how can we teach a child in that moment without much support around them to just get to a point of regulation so they can advocate for themselves appropriately. So self-regulating. And one of the things that I've seen in treatment happen is that as kids get upregulated, they become dysregulated. The space around them and the environment sort of closes in, right? Staff get closer, rooms get smaller, or hey, let's stay in this area for a period of time. And what seems to happen is that doesn't do what we're wanting it to do, which is to get to back to a point of baseline. Doesn't decrease their upregulation, they increases their upregulation, and so it sort of keeps them at a steady increase. So we put together a system that we say just how about if we allowed the climb of their emotional regulation, of their emotional state, their growth. And so instead of saying, hey, you got to this point, we need to cut you off, and kids get dysregulated throughout the whole day, right? If you cut them off early, you give them something, and then later on in the day, they're a little bit more dysregulated. You give them something, then later on in the day, they're a little bit more dysregulated, and it ends up being a span of a long period of time. What Allow the Climb does is it says, instead of closing in space, open up the space. Instead of saying, hey, you're upregulated, dysregulated, stay in this room, we say, hey, you seem to need a little bit of a break. Why don't we find something for you to be able to do? Let's get you outside. Let's get you on a run. Let's get you hitting the bag.